Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So today I wanted to talk about 3 possible additions or 3 good options, very good options in my opinion, as aircraft for the summer event. So if you don't know, the summer event is always an event that happens normally in the end of July, beginning of August. So we have like 1 month at least to wait or something like that. But I really wanted to make this video just so that maybe these ideas would be shared around and maybe give guiding ideas, I don't know. But yeah guys, the summer event is an event that you can actually get vehicles out of it, and basically you can sell them or keep them. For example, last year we had the F-15A Skyray, but we also had the Leopard 2 AV, which was a tank that was expected to be added for a very long time by many players, right? And yeah, let's wait and see how everything goes. But here are my 3 options that I would very much enjoy having in the game as an event vehicle. So first things first, let's start with the least interesting one in my opinion, the Mirage 4000. Yes guys, I don't really like this aircraft too much, but it is just more for not that I don't like the aircraft. I think it's a very cool aircraft. The thing is that it wasn't very much, upgraded from its original prototype, and it never saw proper production. So the performance for a top tier aircraft would be kind of limited. But that's the thing. For events like this, we don't need top tier aircraft. And that's where I think the Mirage 4000 would be cool. I know a lot of people would like to see this aircraft as a Tech 3 aircraft, and I was kind of divided in my decision making for doing this video between that and the F-20 Tiger Shark, but a lot of people also like that option as a Tech 3 vehicle. But I think the Mirage 4000 is more of an event vehicle than the F-20. So I don't know, it is basically a heavy fighter version, quote unquote, of a Mirage 2000. It's not really that, but it is a counter, or not a counter exactly, but it would make the same objective, have the same purpose as an F-15, as an Su-27. So a heavy fighter, right? It would have basically, it would be basically a super Mirage 2000, right? In real life, it didn't carry too many modern stuff. Only I think it was supposed to carry later the Super 530F, and he uses the Mirage 1 as well. Many missiles, I think 8 or something like that, you would be able to carry. So yeah, a lot of missiles. And the radar would be the RDM, which is a very old radar. It's worse than the RDI on the Mirage 2000, but it's not by any means a bad radar. It's just older, right? It would be kind of in the mix between the Mirage F1 radar and the Mirage 2000 radar, right? An evolution from that, but not quite as good as the Mirage 2000 radar, right? So yeah, it would be very interesting. The performance of it is amazing. I mean, it's a delta wing that has a lot of power. So yeah, that's my main concern about the Mirage 2000, as you know. The power, that has it, even though it has a lot of power, the delta wings will lose a lot of energy. So a heavy fighter like this would mean that it has a lot more ways to gain power, which is the 2 engines, right? So it would be an interesting aircraft. I think, I don't know what BR, maybe 11.0, 11.3, depending on the weapon systems that they actually added for it. Because, as I said, it is quite a prototype, so it didn't have many upgrades to it, and, it depends on what they want to add. I don't know if it even had flares or anything like that. A little bit of a stretch might, be able to be done here if there was plans to be adding it or anything like that, but still. It would be an interesting aircraft that maybe it doesn't have a lot of place in the game, but a lot of players would like to see it anyway, right? It would definitely be more exciting than the last year's Skyray, right? The second one is a very dear aircraft for me, and I don't think it really has a place in the game with its original 1969 version, and that is the MiG-25, The MiG-25P, of course, received in 1975, 76, during that time, an upgrade called the PD or PDS, which brought flares and chaff, a better radar designed from the original RP-23 from the MiG-23s, right? So much better. But the original 1969 version was indeed quite underwhelming in the sense of fighting late 70s, early 80s aircraft like we have in game right now. So it wouldn't be too meta. But having as an event vehicle and having a lower BR with just the R40s, I mean, you don't have to go through it to actually, grind anything like that. So not having a cannon, having a very specific way of flying, it would be okay because it's an event vehicle. Not everybody needs it. If you don't want to, you just can sell it and somebody that actually enjoys the aircraft would actually buy it. So it's a perfect event vehicle. It's a vehicle that wouldn't be OP by any means with the meta right now. And it would be usable in the right hands. And it's iconic enough to be added to the game, right? So I don't think it has a place. The P variant from 1969 doesn't have a proper place in the tech tree. It would be a too difficult aircraft for the average player. But as an event vehicle, it would be very cool, I think. And a lot of people would enjoy it. Many friends of mine would like to see something like that. And maybe even adding it as they did with the FRF early, for example, just before adding the proper, better version as a Tech 3 vehicle in the next patch. So, for example, add the P variant right now as an event, and then the next patch they can add the MiG-25 PD with flares, with better radars, with R60Ms, a lot more enjoyable to fly, right? And then we go for the last one, an aircraft that it's hard to say if it has a place in the tech tree. I do think that it has a place for it, but maybe one of the ways to introduce it to be more competitive, adding more advanced versions for the tech tree as well, would be adding it as an event vehicle, and that is the F-15. So yes, if you don't know, initially the F-15A didn't have flares, used AIM-9Js and AIM-7E2s. Right? I mean, it's from the mid-70s. It's an aircraft that used its own time weapons, right? But it's an aircraft that has an incredible performance. So it would be very interesting to see a very early version of an F-15 and then adding a C variant or at least an upgraded A variant with flares and better systems and better weaponry specifically to the tech tree. So, or something like that. A C or A or something from the 80s that had flares, that had AIM-7Ms, AIM-9Ls and stuff like that for the tech tree, and adding this older 1975, F-15A as an event vehicle, not having flares, having the AIM-9J, and having the AIM-7E2, or even the AIM-7F. It's a missile that was almost introduced at the same time, right there, right? So yeah, something like that. And of course, because due to not having flares or anything like that, it would need a lower BR, and that's where the fun part would be, right? It would be a very good aircraft, a very amazing performance compared to, the aircraft that we have in the game at those BRs, but with the problems of having not having flares or chaff. So basically being a little bit more defenseless. So an 11.3 or something like that would be very interesting. It would be a challenge, right? Because although you have a lot of performance for an aircraft such as that, and you have just normal missiles, nothing too crazy, but the performance of the aircraft is amazing, not having flares would mean that the aircraft would be vulnerable to the meta right now in top tier. But that would be the challenge, right? You would need to actually try to get a lower BR, and you have to use the performance that you have against these lower BR aircraft, something along those lines. I think it would be a very cool addition and very different way to actually adding an early F-15 to the game. And of course, as I said, remember, F-15C or something more advanced to actually be added to the tech tree in the, upcoming patch just after this summer event. Remember, the summer event starts normally at the beginning of August, and the patch will be dropping at September. So it's like just afterwards. It's just very shortly afterwards. So it would be cool to see, as I said with the MiG-25, same kind of line of thinking as the FRF, and it would be a very cool addition in my opinion. But But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, and let me know in the comments what you think about these 3 options. 3 aircraft that wouldn't be OP by any means, but it would be very, very cool and good in the right hands options to adding in these kind of events. Much more fun than a Skyray, in my opinion. And hopefully, Gaijin adds something like this. It would like turn a lot of heads. You know, it would be a very important addition to the game. I think it would make a lot of people play the actual event itself, because these 3 vehicles, I know a lot of people that would like to see these 3 vehicles in the game. So it would be a cool addition. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, and I see you guys on the next one.